Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to your Rangers Review press conference reaction video. Chris is live from Ibrox, where he's just heard from Barry Ferguson and Balogun ahead of tomorrow's Europa League quarter-final first leg against Athletic Club of Bilbao. Chris, first of all, how's it going? Is it still lovely and sunny up there?
It's nice and sunny on the other side of the stadium than from where I'm sitting. As always, the sun kind of bathes down on the sandy Jardine stand, and those of us in the main stand are somewhat chillier. Actually, on the gantry this afternoon, won't be on the gantry tomorrow night. UEFA and the Spanish travelling contingent of their press pack, they've taken up every seat on this gantry. So we're up the back of the main stand here in the makeshift overflow area for tomorrow night. So this will be my only visit to the gantry for this quarter-final tie.
That's the one thing about Ibrox that I would like them to try. It's difficult, of course. The stand's over 100 years old, so it's difficult. But modern arena, the press areas are really up to date. But Ibrox, not so much. I've sat up there myself. I think the RS Limassol game, I think I was put up there amongst the fans, which not complaining, but in terms of journalists and what have you, it's not ideal when you're trying to get your laptop out and do stuff as opposed to just being there as a fan. So not ideal. But before we crack on, folks, just a quick word. Podcast sponsors S1 Jobs. If you want to hand in your transfer request, head over to S1 Jobs and upload your CV today. Right, Barry, interesting stuff from him. I'm going to play a clip before we get stuck right in, folks. Of course, he was talking about the game at the weekend when he said he's going to be making a number of changes, and this is what he said with regards to that.
Am I considering other people to play? Of course am I. I told you on Saturday that there will be some changes. You just need to wait to see what the changes are tomorrow night. But listen, I've told everybody now, there's places up for grabs. You need to, when you go into my team and you play, you need to earn your right to play in the team. And I've had to make, or I probably will have to make, some difficult decisions going forward. I've had to make some difficult decisions since I've come into the job. But it's one thing I'm not afraid to do, to try and better the team.
So there you go. Of course, everyone's thinking about Jack Butland and whether that will be one of the big decisions. Chris, he was asked about Jack as well in the press conference. What can you tell us?
It's going to be really interesting to see this Rangers lineup tomorrow. You think to Barry's comments at the weekend, we've also discussed them at length on the shows since then. You can look at that press conference. He didn't give anything away. He did not say Jack Butland will play, did not say Jack Butland won't play. The same situation with Cyril Dessers, who's also the other kind of main talking point amongst the fans at present. His answer has been, you'll wait and you'll find out 75 minutes before the game starts tomorrow night. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he decides to go. I think it's safe to say he's calmed down a wee bit after events at the weekend, and rightly so. But he did say that he'd had a really interesting and a really in-depth chat with the players on Monday. A few home truths, I think, perhaps in that meeting. Leon Balogun was actually asked about that meeting as well, and said that he felt it was beneficial and that a lot of the content of it had to be said. Because I think both Leon and the manager and every Rangers fan that was here on Saturday and it will be here on Thursday, they'll know that level of performance and that result, a fifth successive home defeat, not acceptable. You cannot get away with that at this football club. So time will tell if the messages that Barry has tried to get across, if they actually get into the squad. But as Leon actually addressed towards the end of his interview, it's not games like tomorrow that are the problem. Now, we made that point post-match when Stevie was on with Josh. We spoke about it on the show earlier on this week. These type of fixtures, they take care of themselves for this squad. The bigger test is Pittodrie. The bigger test is the remaining games to come here after the split. So I think people will maybe have fears that Athletic prove too good for Rangers. There's every chance that they come. Now Barry said that he believes they are the favourites for the competition. There's every chance that they come and are just too good for Rangers on Thursday, and too good for Rangers over the course of the tie. I don't think there'll be many fears of Rangers not turning up, because they usually turn up on these occasions. These are the matches and the level of opposition that usually bring out the best in them. So a lot to unpack. A lot to unpack from what Barry said, but there's going to be a lot to unpack from this game tomorrow, because there's just so much riding on it for the club, for the team, for the individuals, and obviously for Barry as Rangers manager.
Yep, I love this. Jim gets in touch. He says, watched you guys from Faro Airport this morning. Now back home and you're on again. Is there no escape? It's almost like Sky Sports rolling news, Jim, but good to have you tuning in anyway. Hopefully you enjoyed your time over in Portugal. Lovely part of the world down there. And but normally, this is normally a members only show, but going forward, I think we're going to start just doing it live for everyone. So but other things that Barry had to say was quizzed on Cyril Dessers, Chris, and whether he is considering Danilo tomorrow night.
He was, and he basically said, no, every player is up for grabs again. He did not. He's not going to get into details on who's going to start and how he's going to go. I think people will have an idea of some of the changes that he could make. I think if Dessers is to drop out, it's more likely to be Igaman that gets that nod as the number 9. As I wrote in a piece that's on the site yesterday morning, the Igaman experiment of playing him slightly deeper or playing him slightly wider, it's not worked. It's not working. It looks like it won't work heading forward. If you decide that you want Igaman on the pitch, he has to play at number 9, because otherwise he's just not effective enough to justify the slot. If you look at how Rangers could shape up in the final third, you're looking at how the side performed in Istanbul, and we think that's going to be the shape. It's going to be a number 9 and getting Černý as close to them at various points as possible. You have to say, in previous games with the Černý and Dessers partnership, it has worked, and that perhaps swing it in Cyril's favour to start here. Of course, the other side that people will rightly point out, his conversion rate of late is not impressive. You think of the chances that he missed up at Dens before he got his goal. Performance here against Hibs at the weekend was not at the level required, and also didn't get a goal. So those two areas, the goalkeeper and the number 9, so important for any successful side, so important to any Rangers side. And Rangers head into the biggest game of the season with real questions over who's going to start in both of them.
Blue says it was a bit disappointed with Barry's response on Dessers. You can go and watch that press conference in full, folks. It's on the YouTube channel right now. Leon Balogun also put up for the press. Always speaks well, does Leon. Let me play a little snippet. It was asked about, of course, the Ibrox record at this moment in time and whether players are finding it difficult to play at home.
I think you would have to ask each player individually. Again, you look at performances here that we had in the past, and then you might think it's hard to say that. You can't really put your finger on it. I think that overall we just lack consistency this season. Can't say if it's down to the fact that it's Ibrox. I'd like not to think so, just based on my own experience here. Yes, I've been in some tough games, but overall it's a joy to be here, to play in front of 50,000 every single game. So I would like to think that this is not a problem, it's more a problem of consistency.
Leon Balogun speaking. Anything else of note that he said in the press conference, Chris?
I think that Ibrox point is a really pertinent one. We speak so much ahead of these matches about the Ibrox factor. Now the Rangers manager talks up in terms of what the crowd here can bring to their players. Succession after succession of visiting managers come in and say, we won't be, we respect it, but we won't be daunted by it. We won't let it get to us. And we always speak about the Ibrox factor on these nights. Dynamic has changed a wee bit of late because Rangers' form here has not been anywhere near good enough. it's going to be interesting to see what this place is like. Now, Barry mentioned it, Leon mentioned it there. What do the crowd expect from tomorrow night? What do they bring to tomorrow night? It's definitely one of these matches where the players have to inspire the fans rather than vice versa. The players can't go on the pitch thinking, well, it's fine, we've got the big crowd, they will give us a lift. They very much, as Leon said in his interview, this Rangers team very much owe this Rangers crowd a result and a performance. Even if they don't get a result, they certainly need to put in a far higher level of showing. They need to show a lot of different aspects to their game than they have showed off late. So it's going to be a different dynamic, I think, in here tonight, or in here tomorrow night. Sorry, and quite telling, I think, be able to find out a lot about the mood of this Rangers crowd, just how they start, how they can get themselves into this match. So certainly plenty to look forward to, and certainly plenty of talking points. I don't think we'll struggle for talking points for our analysis piece, or talking points for our pre and post match shows tomorrow night. Put it that way.
Yeah. Foot Pass of God says, hi guys, can we just play players in their correct positions and show some pride and passion? And Robert Edgar gets in touch, giving Bilbao all the press spots in the gantry over our own fans doesn't sit right with me. Yeah, if it was up to me, Robert, I'd be sticking them all up in the club deck far away and making their life at Ibrox a tad more difficult than what it will be. Rangers rolling out the red carpet for those press guys from Spain. Let's hope they'll be doing likewise to the Scottish contingent next week. Right, that'll do us there. Chris is going to head back downstairs. Very busy today, Chris, because you're going to hear from Ernesto Valverde. It'll be interesting to hear what he has to say.
Hopefully his English is better than my Spanish, or I might not be able to report back. No, there is a translation service, obviously, for these big UEFA matches. The guys that do the press conferences here, they're on a very good ship. So as you say, interesting to see what he says. I'm sure the Ibrox factor, as we've just discussed, I'm sure that will pop up. Not sure what athletic player we're going to get a chance to speak to yet, but as always, you'll see the full interviews on the YouTube channel, hopefully within the hour or so.
Good stuff. Right, we'll let you go, Chris. Thank you as ever, and thank you to you all for tuning in to the show. It's much appreciated, and we'll speak to you tomorrow morning. I'm on with your good self again, Chris, aren't I? Tomorrow morning, 9:30.
Yes, I believe so. Back on first thing for one final preview of a game that feels we've previewed quite a lot. So I'm on tomorrow morning, and then we'll also be live here from the game tomorrow night, and I believe it's Stevie on Friday morning for the post match. So time will.
That's always got a big smile on his face.
Time will tell what kind of mood Stevie is in for Friday morning, but a lot of football to be played before then, as they say.
Yeah, right. Good stuff. Right, I bid you farewell, and we'll speak to you later on, folks. Bye for now.